Hey, Rabbi.
Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. What's going on?
Hashem.
Yes. Parasha Vayishlah. To all our viewers, this is unscripted. We just discuss and talk about the Parasha, some ideas that we have. I think we could start with the beginning of the Parasha. Yaakov's preparation to finally, dramatically meet again with his brother Esav after all these decades. He ran away from Esav after the whole conflict of the firstborn and the beracha. He builds a life. He has all of his kids and his wives. He leaves Lavan's house. He's coming back to Esav. There's a lot of drama. Yaakov is clearly very nervous, very justifiably so, right? Esav makes it very clear that he wants to kill his brother. And Yaakov prepares for this meeting. He prepares in many different ways. This is a classic, very simple, right? Everyone understands the peshat of this. Yaakov, how does he prepare? He divides his family into different camps so that if one gets hit, the other one is saved. He prays to Borei Olam, of course, and he prepares gifts, right? Basically, three different preparations. And if you look and analyze Yaakov's actions, you would say, not only did he do the right thing, right? He's a model for how we deal with conflicts in our lives. You have an issue, you have to do your hishtadlut, you have to, of course, pray to Borei Olam, you have to think things through. This is like the Jewish model, right? We learn from Yaakov how to apply. But then the struggle here is, how do you explain the story with the malach? And even though he overcomes the malach, how he gets hit in the thigh.
Your question is, why did the malach come to him? Or
yeah, there's different ways of looking at the story of the malach. Many of the mefarshim look at him getting hit in the thigh and getting that limp, right? And the Gid Hanasheh as a mistake or almost like a punishment to Yaakov, right? Some view it differently, as though there's no issue with Yaakov. Many mefarshim view this as, Yaakov, here is a slight hint at you having done something maybe not the best, right? There's a lot to analyze here. For example, one explanation says, you know why Yaakov gets hit in the thigh, and then for generations we can't eat from the Gid Hanasheh? One explanation says, well, why was Yaakov alone?
Right.
He should have been with his sons.
Yes.
Yaakov's son. It's a criticism, according to one explanation, not on Yaakov, on Yaakov's sons. Why are you letting your father be alone in this time? Wow. You're the young, you're the youth. You should be guiding your father. You should be protecting your father. You should have his back. You should never leave your father alone.
I'll piggyback on that.
Yeah.
The Gemara actually says, Tamid Hakam lo yatzeh yehdi balayla. Hakam shouldn't go walking alone.
Sure. And but whose responsibility is that? It's on the Tamid Hakam a little bit to have someone, but it's also on the Talmidim to be there, milaveh otam. And according to this explanation of the Hizkuni says, we don't eat from the Gid Hanasheh as a reminder for all of us to keep that in mind, that we should, out of Kibud Avim, it's also a matter of spending time, being with our elders, accompanying them, being with them, and so on. So that's you're looking at the story as a criticism of the kids. Other mefarshim say that there's no criticism here, right, at all. Some mefarshim view it as a criticism a little bit against Yaakov. So with that in line, what could have Yaakov maybe done wrong? It seems like he did everything perfect. He prepared and he prayed to Borei Olam. Amazing, right? So if you look at the Pesukim, after everything is done, it says, Vayakom balayla hu. All the preparations are done. This is in Aliyat Sheni.
Yes.
ויקח את שתי נשיו ואת שתי שבחותיו ואת 11 ילדיו ויעבור את מעבר יבוק. You did your preparations, Yaakov. You divided the camp, you prayed to Borei Olam, you prepared gifts for Esav. Now it's the nighttime, the night before, right? All of a sudden, in the middle of the night, it seems almost like Yaakov, he can't sleep. So what does he do? He says, there's a river over there. Let's cross the river as an additional barrier. As an additional barrier.
That was extra?
Huh?
I think that was extra.
So maybe, right, what was expected of Yaakov is, Yaakov, you did your hishtadlut, you trusted in Borei Olam. The final test is, can you go to sleep at night? If you can go to sleep at night, that means that you have full emunah. Emunah in this case doesn't mean emunah like leave it to the hands of Hashem and don't do anything. Emunah here being,
You
trust,
did what you did.
you did what you did, and you trust in Hashem.
Nice one.
How do you test if you really did these things right? If you could sleep at night. And this happens to all of us in our lives. You prepared for an interview, or for a job, for a project, for a presentation, for anything in our lives, and you did your best, and you prayed to Borei Olam, and now it's the night before. Are you tossing and turning in your bed?
That's a nice one.
Or are you going to sleep and you're saying, right now, what I need to do is to go to sleep because I also need to go to sleep. That's also part of the preparation, right? To get a good night's sleep. And maybe Yaakov was restless at night. So he says, let's go over and cross this river, like an additional thing. What's like, Yaakov, you did everything. Like an additional thing. What's like, Yaakov, you did everything you needed to do. Just go to sleep. Just relax, you know? And he doesn't. And that's why he's left alone. Why is he left alone? Because they're moving things back and forth, back and forth. And then at one point, he's alone on the other side of the river because they're moving everything. And that's when he gets hit by the malach. And he gets hit on the thigh. He says, you move too much, Yaakov. You're moving too much. You should have just trusted at this stage. Idea. So the idea of you're doing your hishtadlut, your bitachon in Hashem, and then
leave it up to him.